Hello, and welcome to the Beautiful AI Podcast, brought to you by Perfect Corp, the leading provider of AI and AR solutions in the world of beauty and fashion. This podcast explores the many ways AI innovation is enhancing the lives of consumers and creating a more beautiful world. Join our host, technology thought leader Wayne Liu, as he talks with industry leaders about the AI innovations influencing the world today. If you're interested in learning more about the transformative impact of AI, keep listening.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Beautiful AI Podcast, where the beauty meets technology. I'm your host, Wayne Liu. I'm the president and the chief growth officer at the Perfect Corp. So each episode, we sit down with the industry leaders and the innovators to explore how AI is transforming the way we live, we shop, and we connect. And today, I'm very excited to welcome Caitlin Allen, the senior vice president of a market at the Simbe Robotics. Recently named the Fast Company #1 most innovative company in robotics and engineering and one of the world's 50 top innovative company of 2025. Caitlin, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Wayne. I can't wait to chat.
Yeah, so actually we were in the Web Summit, so we are in the same stage back in June. And then when I listened to what Caitlin shared about AI, robotics, and the retail, I said, now I have to invite Caitlin into our show and then share all this excited development with our audience. So that's why I'm glad we can get it together to record this episode.
Well, I felt very much the same.
Before we jump into like AI, robotics, and all kinds of things, so let's start with your story. Let's tell the story about yourself. Can you share a little bit about your career and then what led you to your current role? And then also, what you feel excited about, like day-to-day work.
Love it. Thank you. And thank you again, Wayne. I'm so excited to continue the conversation that we started in Vancouver. I also was just so inspired by what you're doing in the world and some of the things you said up there on the stage. So it'll be fun
Thank you.
to keep talking. So my background, let's see. My career is mostly focused on building markets for disruptive technology companies for about 2 decades. And that has spanned everything from enterprise software and consumer platforms to deep technology like robotics. I actually started my career in nonprofit healthcare and then got into enterprise software by accident. I started and scaled and ultimately sold a marketing firm that put companies like LinkedIn and Google for Work on the map back before a lot of us knew what they were, which is hard to imagine today. And then was in venture capital for a brief period of time, advising startups at Andreessen Horowitz before joining executive teams that helped take Lyft through IPO and happy returns to acquisition. And I guess, to your question, what am I excited about? What has it taught me? I'm a really big believer, Wayne, in the power of disruptive technology to solve human problems and free us up to do things that, where we spend more time with the people that we love or more time doing the things that we love. And that's part of the reason I've been so fascinated with the work you're doing in the world. And it's also one of the reasons that I was really attracted to this role at Simbe. So Simbe is a company that sells robots and other technology to retail stores. And we'll get into that more, like you said. But, one of the things I've learned over my career is you need product market fit. You need enthusiastic customers. You need a product that solves a real problem. But even if you have all those things, it doesn't matter to me if there isn't an incredible leadership team and an incredible CEO at the top who makes decisions based on principles. And so when I was introduced to our CEO by a mutual friend 2 years ago, I was really intrigued. And I was the first marketing hire at Simbe, which means I've gotten to build the team from scratch. And it's just been a really fun ride over the last 2 years, and we're just getting started. So lots more great stuff to come.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's a very amazing career path. You've been through many, many different aspects of the technology, consultant, and then behind the scene of lots of the development, what you will see, like a LinkedIn or kind of thing. Yeah, so let's talk about Simbe. For most of our listener, they probably don't know Simbe because you're pretty much behind the scene. You all orchestrate all kind of amazing infrastructure in the retailer. So tell us more about how do you describe this company And then what makes it so unique in the retail technology space?
Yeah, thank you. And to your point, most people know our robot Tally, which is the 6.5 foot robot in retail stores, but Simbe is the company behind the robot. And we have the privilege of pioneering the use of robotics in everyday consumer facing retail environments. And for many of us, that's a new concept. So we may not know that robots can solve problems that we experience every day, but we definitely know the problems that affect us all the time that Simbe solves, which is the fact that the items or the products that we want to buy are so often not where we want them or where we want them when we want them at the correct price. And Simbe started selling into grocery, Wayne, and now has clients across more than a dozen retail sectors in home improvement and alcohol stores, farm supply stores, club wholesale. And what we're doing is helping retailers who are like all of us reimagining what their businesses and their day-to-day lives look like with AI and automation. And in that world right now, data quality and insights have never been more important, especially about the items that retailers are selling. And you live and breathe this too. And so that's where we help. And maybe to set the stage a little bit broader as well, we launched our first or the world's first autonomous inventory robot in 2016. And today we work with the largest number of retail banners in the world in 9 different countries. And our platform combines robots and something called RFID, which is basically it reads soft tagged apparel tags. And then there's also fixed cameras. And the robot goes up and down the aisles to look at like what's in stock and what's missing and if prices are correct. And then it coordinates its information with some of the other like cameras or other sensors that we might have in the stores. And it prioritizes for the store teams exactly what needs to be addressed so that shoppers have a better experience in the store and so that the store teams that would otherwise be spending their time looking at all the errors on the shelves can actually spend more time serving shoppers.
Yeah, so Simbe seems like you are not only building the robots, but actually the intelligence behind that robots, and then with all the data analysis and all kind of thing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's good. So let's talk a little bit more about this, right? So, right now, AI, robots, it's become almost like a cliche, right? So when we get into all kind of a conference or even the startup competition, everybody's doing AI, everybody's doing like a robotic, even they are not. Okay, so all joking about that. But so in this very competitive space, okay, so you won like a number one in the robotics engineering. So you mentioned a little bit about leadership, all kind of things. So what do you think really set the Simbe apart from all this, the rest of this, the fast evolving industry?
Yeah, it's such a good question. And this is definitely something that you all know very well at Perfect Corp because you also specialize in this area. I would say that there are 3 things that set Simbe apart. And then there's one thing that I really want to point out that sets our robot apart. And maybe I'll start there. So we have designed using something called human centered design. And all that basically means, Wayne, is that the robot hardware, which looks like a 6.5 foot iPhone. It's thin at the top, has a broader base at the bottom. It's white. It has blinking eyes. It has a little sign that says, "Hi, I'm Tally." And the cameras are all along the sides that read the shelves as it goes by. The design that went into how Tally functions and how Tally looks all started from the place of asking the question of how can a robot coexist in the same physical space as humans like you and me and be complementary, like maybe positive or neutral. And so that's something that really sets our robot apart. Like if our robot gets put in blinded surveys next to our competitor robots, we win every time because of the beautiful design. And so I think that that's something that's very important. And then to your question around the main qualities that set Simbe apart in the retail industry, it's 3 things. The first of which is the fact that we're vertically integrated. And what that means is we make the hardware, we make the software, we deliver the services. And it's very easy for people to at first assume like how hard can it be to build a robot, right? It's to your point, like there are a lot of people that say they do it even if they don't. And once you get into actually building this kind of technology, it's very complicated. And so that's something that we've always been very laser focused on. And the second piece of what differentiates us is very similar, but we are focused so much on the one problem that we solve, which is the price errors and the out of stock errors on shelves. And because we're so laser focused, that's what really enables us to be so effective. It's hard to try to be many things for many use cases. It's still hard to be really good at something when you're focused on just one, but you're set up for a lot more success. So those are the two main things that differentiate us. And then lastly, of course, we have the privilege of working with some incredible customers. And we're the only company that's delivered impact at chain-wide and global scale too. So that kudos really goes to our customers and their innovation in the world.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree, especially with so many so-called shining objects, right, flying around every day. So like every day you have something new. So if you cannot focus and start to cultivate and grow your area, I guess that will be very difficult to grow the company. And also I hear actually you are building the robots from the human perspective, right? So you also put the human in mind and then start building this robot. That's very good. That's why you say your company apart from the rest of this robotic company. And also talk about Tolly, right? So keep on mentioning this Tolly. So help us like describe this Tolly a little bit. And then how do you get into this name?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, Tally's name is very simple. Tally goes up and down aisles and counts products and looks at whether products are available for sale in the right place, in the right location, at the right price. So that's where the name Tally comes from. It's a 6.5-foot tall robot that is white. Each retailer's logo is usually on the top, so it's branded by the hosting retailer. And there's little blinking eyes that are kind of on the front. I'm seeing, yeah, here we go. Let me see if I can put this. It's a picture of the robot. And what Tally sees is then integrated with our platforms on the back end that will send information to different segments, and we can get into that if you'd like, of people that helps them in different ways, whether it's replenishing stock, whether it's understanding what's going on in their stores, whether it's understanding trends across their store chain, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So because it's AI power, so basically it can learn, right? So it can learn and improve.
Yes, it is definitely.
One day we can try one of this colleague to be a beauty advisor to start interact with the customer on the beauty stuff. Yeah.
I love it.
If you're interested in this conversation and want to learn more about AI solutions for your business, consider booking a demo with Perfect Corp at www.perfectcorp.com/business. Contact us today and see how our selection of AI and AR solutions can take your business to new heights. Now, back to the episode.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so you mentioned about mainly retailers, stuff from grocery store, like using your technology. But this, especially we are in the B2B business, right? So companies really looking for the result, the impact. Okay. So not just for something cool. Okay. So that's why I like to hear more about the impact. So what kind of a result or transformation are your retail partners see after they deploy your technology?
Yeah. Well, it's a very appropriate question for a head of growth to ask about growth. And we've been lucky to see tremendous growth in recent years, Wayne. We're partnered, as I said earlier, with retail banners in 3 continents and 9 countries and more than a half a dozen sectors. So grocery, wholesale, club, liquor, farm supply, home improvement, and so on. And the results really, they're impressive and they're different depending upon the group of people or group of organization that we're talking about. So from a retail corporate perspective, the board or the shareholders or the department leads, where we help them is on things like increasing annual sales lift, generally about 2% annually, as well as increasing margin for each store. And that's usually about 5% annually. Then within a store, there's things that matter a lot to those that are responsible for making sure that items are sold at the correct price. And that helps things like on-shelf availability and price and promotion execution accuracy, as well as fast online order fulfillment. So those are all metrics that get impacted kind of at the store level. If we think about the store teams, Retail workers have an attrition rate of about 95% right now. And the main reason that retail workers quit is because of manual, highly repetitive, monotonous tasks. And it's really hard to do boring work well. And that's part of why the attrition rate is so high. So getting to the benefit, when stores use Tally and some of Simbe's other solutions, their store teams are able to rededicate up to about 50 hours per week to their shoppers, which is the thing that store team members like the most. So we hear from store managers, that 9 and 10 of them prefer their jobs with Tally around. And we hear from 90% of them as well that their stores sell more and that their customer service is better. And then from the shopper perspective as well, I don't know if you've ever placed an order, Wayne, on like Instacart, for instance. On average, one of every 2 items ordered on Instacart is either substituted or not found in a grocery store. When a store is using our solutions, that goes above 98%. And so, for you and me, that's also a great experience because the peanut butter that you want and want to go to the store for, or the yogurt you might order online, you have the confidence that you're going to get it and not need to go somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. So that's really like a great impact and result from, by using this robotic technology. So, but that's wearing your marketing hats. Okay. So from
Yes.
marketing perspective, we know that, I think lots of people is excited about AI and robotic, but to get into like a real start to implement, to engage in and then get into a real project, it's still some barrier, like a challenger. So how do you tell the story and help this retailer partner understand this tangible value of automation?
I love this question so much. If you think about it, we all grow up hearing stories, right? That's how we grow up as kids. We watch movies, we read books, our parents tell us stories about their families, et cetera, et cetera. Every story has characters, and every story always has an enemy and a hero, or more than one, and beneficiaries. And so for Simbe, our story focuses on the enemy being manual inventory audits, where store team members walk up and down the aisles themselves using their own eyes, trying to find, the errors that are on shelves. And we know that automation is about 10 times more effective than humans doing that manual work. So the enemy of our story is manual audits. Then, a story often has a hero or a set of heroes. And for us, the hero is the retail executive team that's decided to be innovative and decided to serve their shoppers and store teams better. And then the hero is also the store teams that go through this change management process to do things in their day-to-day jobs different so that they serve the shoppers better. And then by extension, that it's pretty obvious that the beneficiaries of our story are the shoppers who have a better, easier, more enjoyable experience. That's really how we tell it. There's also kind of the typical problem solution arc of how a normal story goes along as well. And when you're selling disruptive technology, you're often needing to educate on, people may know they have a problem. They may not even know that they have the problem you solve, but they most likely don't know that they need the solution that you sell. And so helping retail partners understand the true cost of in-store efficiencies and manual audits, we do that generally by highlighting third-party reports and anecdotes that quantify the problem. And then we also spotlight our retail heroes, the associates, the retail executives who are innovating with this amazing new technology, and then also the shoppers who are receiving benefits from it. And, I call it FOMO, and I'll explain the next acronym in a minute. So is creating FOMO among the retail, industry of like, oh goodness, this new thing is happening and these people are doing something that's new and exciting and I want to follow along. So that's step one. And then step two is something I call FOMO, which is fear of messing up. Anybody that, that hears about some new technology or some new way of doing business, the next automatic feeling is, gosh, this is new. I don't know how to do this. And this is the reason why people buy Microsoft, right? It's the safe thing to do. And so we focus a lot on telling our client success stories and exactly what they've done to succeed, so that there's a blueprint for others to follow in their footsteps that's specific to that, geography or retail sector or that organization, so that it's safe to change.
Yeah. amazing marketing position because I'm totally with you. When we talk to some of our customer, especially the enterprise customer, they know there is a problem, but they don't know what is the problem. So they don't know what they don't know. So that's why I guess you need to help them to figure out the problem. And then the way you do this, you position your solution like a robot as a superhero to attack the problem as a villain and then to solve them to save the world. I guess that's it's a brilliant marketing strategy. I love that.
Well, it's very similar to some of what you do in the world too. Like I've got glasses on right now. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at glasses online and not bought glasses online because I need to see them on my face. And,
Yes.
and that's a problem that, maybe someone's aware of, but they don't necessarily think, or maybe they didn't necessarily think right off the bat, I need to go buy technology like yours. But with it, like, I'm sure I would buy things online.
Yes, absolutely. So we didn't script this part, but actually our next episode, my guest is from our very long time retailer. They did
Oh,
this virtual try-on for the eyewear for past 3 years. They get like a multi-millions try-on every day. So it's like, I believe that's the way, that's the case. So,
that's so cool.
that's good. So we'll do some marketing and promotion for our next episode. Talk about the personalization and AI and robotics. So where do you see this opportunity for all this kind of technology to work together, create an even more seamless and intelligent in-store experience, robotic, AI, personalization, and big data?
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's such a fascinating question because we're just so in the earliest days of this. Where are we today, right? Retailers are the critical link between products and the people who want to buy them, and yet they often lack a clear understanding of what's inside their stores so that they can answer really simple questions like where is an item or is the price correct? And that usually goes unanswered because of the manual inventory audits that are still very commonplace. That's today. And I think that the challenge and the opportunity for today is embracing new technology and embracing the change management that goes along with that shift in the way of working. And as that happens, and we close the visibility gap in retail, we're seeing some of our clients shift from a reactive to a proactive mindset. So it could be as simple as fixing problems rather than looking for them inside of the store. That's a very near term use case. But then once we start to get into more advanced use cases, we're going to start to see things, and we are with some of our clients, see things like, when an item is low in stock, their supply chain systems will automatically reorder that product. So it never is out of stock. That's just one example. But as AI connects the supply chain and makes it more intelligent, demand forecasting, reordering, merchandising decisions, they're all going to dramatically change and become data driven in ways that just haven't been possible before until now, so that the experience that retailers want to provide is able to be provided every single time.
It's great. You've been working with many retailers. So based on your experience, there's a challenge and then there's an opportunity. Okay.
Yeah.
So for the retailer who may just want to start it, okay, they just think about it. They just doesn't have the courage to take the first step. So think about how to integrate AI into their operation. What advice would you give them to help them to get started the right foot, and also probably a preliminary plan, like how do they get into this AI and robotic work?
Yeah. I would say think big and long term, but start small. That would be my first piece of advice. And I have a second that I'll get to in a minute. But to double click into that, there are many use cases where shelf digitization can be applied. I just spoke about some of them: automating reordering. You can prioritize pick paths when a team is fulfilling online orders. But starting with something like price accuracy or on shelf availability, focus on one or two core use cases and build a business case around that. That's kind of where to focus and start, and then make sure that you can scale over time. And then the second piece would be choose a partner that is not just an order taker, but can help you craft a business case and a vision. Because, you might, for instance, want to start in-store operations, but item level data is valuable for many, many departments in a retail organization. And so if you have someone that can think holistically with you, you'll set your business up for more return over time.
Yes. Yes. Choose a partner, not just a vendor. So that's always the thing. Yeah. You can work together and then help each other and grow together. So that's exactly the partner. Yeah. So I guess that we are pretty much at the end of our episode, but thank you so much for sharing the incredible insight and your personal journey. It's been so inspiring to hear how Simbe is leading the charge in making physical retail smarter, more efficient, and more consumer friendly. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for joining our episode today.
Thank you so much for having me, Wayne. It's really been fun to chat with you again and excited about all of the things that you're doing in the world too.
Yes, so we'll probably see each other, sometimes on the stage too. Yes.
I look forward to
Um,
it.
yes, yes. So for the audience, if you're interested, you can definitely go to the website and take a look at the Polly, right? The amazing robot from Smart Simbe. Okay, so and then to our listeners, thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review and share this episode if you found it helpful. So until next time, keep innovating and stay beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.
We hope you enjoyed listening to the Beautiful AI podcast. To continue exploring the world of beautiful AI and technology innovation, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to join us for our next episode.